Hi everyone, today I'm going to be walking you through how you can build your own Cornell notes system in Notion. Before I get started with the tutorial, I want to quickly outline that you can also get this template with the first link in the bio, and this is essentially what we're going to be building today. So to give you a quick walkthrough of how this system will work, so on the left, you'll be able to access a chapter link, key points from the lesson, any review questions that you want to test yourself with, and unclear topics that you feel like need to be reviewed a bit more. And then on the right, you're able to add a mind map for your notes and also actually have an area to take your notes and then later hide them. So once you're actually doing the review, you're not accidentally looking at the notes that you've taken. At the really bottom, you can also make a quick summary of the lesson that you have just finished in your own words and then try to connect this with what you've learned in the past. So to get started with a brand new page, what you first want to do is configure it. In order to do this, head over to the top right and click on the full width setting. Now, you can set any name for the template. I'm simply going to call it Cornell Capture. And then what we want to do now is create two separate columns. To do this, we need two separate blocks like we have here, and then simply drag them side by side like so. And then now we have two separate columns, and you can adjust the width between them to match the other template. And one of the most important blocks that we're going to be using is the callout. And this is essentially a defined block in which you can put any text that you'd like to. And within the block, I'm going to be using heading 3 for the titles. So this would be chapter link. And then between the titles and the text, I'll be using a divider, which you can put by pressing the dash key 3 times. Now I'm going to follow a similar structure for the remaining 3 blocks on the left side. So this is going to be key points, review questions, and unclear topics. For key points, I would recommend using bullet points, and then you can simply create as many as you'd like to. For review questions, again, it's completely up to you based on your preferences. And then for unclear topics, again, you can just put bullet points or a numbered list, whichever one you prefer. On the right side, we're going to have two callouts again. And this one, again, following similar formatting. This is mind map with a divider. And then I'm going to be using a button for this. And I'll come back to this and how you can configure this so it actually creates a mind map for you. And then this will be your notes. And here I'm going to be using the toggle list. So you're able to hide your notes once you've completed taking them. So let's say you have my notes. Again, if you click this arrow, it hides the notes for you. At the really bottom, we also want to have two separate blocks for the summary and connection. So again, creating callouts, I'm going to duplicate this and put it side by side like so. And then on the left, we'll have the summary. And on the right, we'll have the connection. All right, so for the mind map, heading back to the template, if you click this button, it automatically adds a mind map for you. And you're able to then create a visual representation of your notes. This is really powerful because when you're taking notes, you often follow a linear format. And sometimes this limits the amount of connections that you can make with other concepts. And so by having a mind map, you're really able to visualize your understanding of the given lesson or the chapter as a whole and find different ways to connect branches that you may not have been able to before. So in order to add this to your own template, what you can do is click on this gear and then name the button. I'm going to call it mind map and then give it an icon as well. All right, so next you want to click on action and then you want to click on insert blocks. Make sure that the setting is set to below button. So once you actually click the button, it creates these blocks right beneath. Again, I'm going to follow a similar formatting and use a heading 3 and name this mind map with a divider. Now, to create that mind map block, since Notion doesn't have an inbuilt mind map block yet, what you can do is use an external software. So if you head over to mindmap.so, you can create your own mind map and then directly embed this within your Notion system. And so what you can do is simply copy the link to this website, and then you can head back to your Notion template. And here, if you copy paste the link and click on embed, it automatically embeds it for you. And then you can click on done. And again, if you click on the button, now we can have a similar mind map. All right, so that summarizes everything for this video. I hope you're able to use this template to better organize yourselves in Notion and create notes that don't only just prompt you to memorize, but actually understand what you're being taught. Again, you don't have to create this specific template, as I've linked it directly below, and a lot of other free templates that you can use to better organize yourself in your journey with Notion. Again, I hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you soon.